Hello and welcome. I am here to give you an update on the new moon that we are having in gate 44, the gate of alertness, which falls under the sign of Scorpio. This new moon is happening on Friday and it carries very powerful energy for transformation. And so I want to just read to you something that I have written about this lunation so that you can really learn how to harness this energy, go with the flow, stop resisting the changes that are trying to occur in your life and within you right now so that you can truly reinvent yourself. Before I do that, I do want to remind you that we have work weekend coming up at the end of December. If you're new here, work weekend is my retreat that I host. We've hosted 2 so far. This will be our 3rd. It is for creative and spiritual and visionary entrepreneurs to take the time out of your day-to-day, stop putting out fires for a second, get out of your normal environment, and get into someplace completely new with people who honestly get it, who are also trying to go against the grain, break up with the status quo, do things differently, do business differently, and really give yourself, it almost feels like an incubator. Work weekend is sort of like an incubator of whatever vision that you have on your heart now, which has changed for a lot of us over the course of the year. But now, especially with this new moon bringing a lot of clarity where you maybe didn't have clarity in the past, as you get this clarity and as you see a path forward and as you see what is required of you in order to walk that path, forge that way, now taking the time out of your day and out of your normal environment to be around aligned energy, supportive energy, connecting and actually working on that vision, doing the real focused work on that vision, that's what work weekend is for. So what I do is I rent a beautiful house right on the coast of Rhode Island, and you come and everything is taken care of for you. You have your own room and it's just a beautiful space in a beautiful location. And we have 7 women, so it's a really intimate group. We nerd out on human design and astrology and business. We mastermind together. We do 3 sessions prior to the retreat to help you get crystal clarity on exactly what your vision is, what is your mission, who are you underneath all of the layers, and what are those beliefs and patterns and perspectives and stories that you are holding on to that really need to be released. So work weekend is a release, it's an intention setting, it is a reset. You get to relax, you get to connect, you get to be pampered and eat really delicious food from our private chef. And we also go out to dinner to one of my favorite restaurants right on the water. It's a famous restaurant as our celebratory dinner. We do a lot of really amazing things during this weekend. And like I said, it's just sort of like, it's like a snow globe of magic and transformation and reinvention and really deep connection. So if you've been craving that community, if you've been craving a reset, if you feel like this year really didn't pan out the way you wanted it to, but you want to set yourself up to have a really just breakout year in 2025, I invite you to apply to join us for work weekend. It's a very short questionnaire to fill out. And we have 3 spots left. So if you're feeling the call, if you have heard me speak about it before, and you've been feeling the pull, now is your chance. This could very well be the last work weekend for a while because in 2025, I have a lot of stuff on the books already, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it. So now is your chance to join us for work weekend. If you have any questions at all, you can reach out to me directly on Instagram, or you can book a connection call and get your questions answered directly by me. I want you to feel really safe and empowered as you make this decision. So that is my spiel on that. And if you've been thinking about joining us for work weekend and you've been on the fence, this new moon should bring you the clarity that you need. Let me explain. Let's dive into this. So I'm going to read to you just sort of like the message that really came through to me about this new moon as I was reading the chart and just feeling into what I have been sensing and moving through and observing in the people around me as well. So here we go. So on Friday, we have our new moon in gate 44, the gate of alertness, which falls under the sign of Scorpio. And the sun will also be there at that time. Venus at this time will be in gate 26, which falls under Capricorn. And gate 26 and gate 44 complete an electromagnetic connection through the channel of surrender. So this links the splenic center to the heart center through the channel of surrender. So our spidey senses will be tingling, we will be hearing what isn't said, we will be seeing the unseen, and we will be sniffing out the truth and the potential of every person, every room, every project. We may even tap into memories from past lives during this time. So make sure to stay grounded, do some grounding practices, and just trust that your discernment has your back, right? You've been developing a lot of discernment and really building your self-trust back up in the last several months. And so really lean on that during this time while the veil is really thin. And like I said before, if you've been trying to make a decision about someone or something and whether they're correct for you, now will be the time when the answer becomes very clear, okay? And not only will all become clear, but you'll finally feel like you have the willpower to follow through on what you now know. So maybe you've been knowing for a while, but you've been justifying it to yourself or trying to find some reason why it couldn't possibly be true. Maybe it's a truth you don't want to know. Right now, you won't be able to lie to yourself anymore. And you'll also have that willpower to really take action in alignment with that realization. We'll finally become clear on what needs to be embraced and also what needs to be let go of in order to step fully into this truth and into the vision. Simultaneously, the skeletons in our closets, so the mistakes and the messes of the past, the patterns we hide and justify, will come out to haunt us. Okay, so the fear will try to pull you back into those patterns that you know it's time to release, but you're prepared now. You remember who you are now. You've been building up your strength and resilience, and you know that you can truly move forward now. You can truly release these patterns now. That said, we're at a metaphorical crossroads, and the question that this new moon is really presenting is, will you commit to the decision from a place of fear of the past catching up with you? Or will you commit to the decision that reflects the truth and the vision that you sense in your bones, the potential that you sense in your bones, even if the evidence around you does not yet reflect what you see? Hopefully that makes sense. So your willingness to face this fear, just like all the gates in the splenic center, right? They all represent potential awareness. But a lot of times, in order to embody that level of awareness and in order to embody that heightened intuition, we need to face the fears. And each of those gates is also associated with a different fear. Gate 44 is associated with that past catching up to you. But when you really face that, when you face that fear, you can really tap into the expansion possible for you, the transformation possible for you, and the awareness that's available to you on the other side of that fear. This transit has the potential to give us this extra boost of self-confidence and self-worth that will help us to make the bravest decision. So choose the bravest option. That said, Saturn in gate 63, which falls under Pisces, and the South Node in gate 18, which falls under Libra, could have us doubting ourselves, nitpicking our flaws, and seeing all the reasons why maybe we're not ready for the vision or we're not good enough for the vision. So there's really an opportunity to once and for all really alchemize and integrate these patterns. And what helps me to do this is to remember that once I really embody this lesson, once I really access this wisdom by taking action in alignment with what I now know, even when it's hard, even when the fear wants to pull me back, each time I do that, I have more value to share with the people around me that can really help them. So sometimes I need that little extra boost to give me the willpower to really take those actions. So maybe that will help you too. We also have Jupiter in gate 45, which is Gemini, and Uranus in gate 8, which is Taurus, really supporting this and really acting as reminders that you are rewarded with fortune, with luck, with positive expansion when you take control of your own life and you gather the necessary resources and support so that you can show up unapologetically as your authentic self. And What I find interesting too about the chart for this new moon is that no gates are activated in the G center at the time of the new moon. So this might mean that we are feeling the pressure to express ourselves and to act in alignment with who we now know ourselves to be, but we're still not quite clear on how to do that, and we're not quite clear on where we belong, where we're going next. So this is really an invitation to reclaim your identity independent of anything outside of you. So independent of the present circumstances, of past mistakes, wounds, relationships, locations, careers, accolades, bank accounts, really anything outside of you. And it's really an opportunity to remember what's left when all of that is stripped away, to reflect on all the lessons learned and the wounds healed and the shadows integrated. Like, you've been doing the work. I see you. And it was all for something. The work was all for something. Something kept you going. Something was in the background really driving you to make these harder decisions or take the path less traveled, because why? Like, what is that why? And right now is a beautiful time to remember why and what all of that was for. With Mars in gate 56, we'll be taking action based on the stories that we're telling. So choose your story wisely, okay? Stop choosing the one from the past. Learn from it, let it inform your next chapter, and move on, right? Edit that story to reflect what you now know, to reflect what you have healed and how you've grown. Imagine your future self is telling the story of this moment, but in the future, as if this moment has already happened. What would you want her to say about this time? What would you want her to say about the decisions that you made at this time, the way that you decided to move, the way that you decided to show up, the way that you handled obstacles, because those are inevitable, right? And I also want to say, like, if everything that I'm saying is really resonating with you, you are likely here at this time to be a leader and lead others through these shifts, lead others through these transformations and through this shadow work and healing work and all of that, whether you are, calling it that or you're calling it something else. There's some part of you that's destined to be a leader during this time. And so right now is a good time to get clear on what that actually means for you and to you. What does it mean to you to be a leader? And you can go look at your human design chart for some more clarity on this, about what kind of leader you're designed to be and how you're designed to show up. But you likely know a lot of these answers without even having to look at the chart at this point, because you've learned a lot. So really reflecting on what does it mean to you to be a leader during this time, and what do you really want to stand for? And also just remembering that now is the time, right? Like, everyone, I feel like every astrologer has been talking about how transformational this lunation really is, and it's giving fresh, clean slate energy for sure. But remember that a lot of times with that fresh start, that clean slate, that new thing, that new way of being and living and showing up in the world, there will be some residue, right? Some residue that needs to be released or shined, right? Like, cleaned off. So right now is a great time for that. I know for me personally, I'm experiencing a little bit of physical symptoms. I don't know if you can tell, like, I've got something going on with my eye over here. I've got some pressure and congestion. And I've just really been caring for my lymphatic system. I've been grounding a lot. I noticed that my sensitivity seems higher right now. So trying to move that energy out and through me. And having discernment. So I wish you a very happy new moon. I hope that you do a beautiful ritual for yourself. Scorpio is a water sign, of course, so you might consider immersing yourself in water and really connecting that way. Cleansing, yes, but also connecting through the water. What does the water have to teach you? I'll definitely be taking my new moon bath. I always put Epsom salts in there. I'll light a candle. I'll write my intentions. I'm really feeling called to write what I want to let go of, even though that's typically what I would do on a full moon. This new moon is giving energy of release as well. So let me know what really resonated with you. Let me know if it was helpful. Let me know how you are going to be working with this transit. You can take a look at where 44 is for you, which house it falls under, which house Scorpio is. I believe this is 9 degrees Scorpio. The new moon is happening. So which house is that happening for you? That will really give you an idea of where you'll be experiencing a new beginning. You can also look at, do you have gate 44? Do you have gate 26? Do you have a defined spleen or a defined heart center or not? Looking at these different aspects of your human design chart in relation to some of the transits that I talked about in this video can be really helpful as far as understanding exactly how this energy is going to be influencing you and how you can really flow with it instead of resisting it and trying to force your way. So yeah, I hope that you love this video. I hope you hit subscribe so that you can get more updates. I'll also be uploading this into the free community. I'll drop a link below so that you can join. All of my favorite YouTube videos and podcast episodes, as well as some free guided meditations and workbooks, are all available inside the free community for human design lovers and spiritual and creative entrepreneurs. So if that's you, please join the Embodied Alignment Collective, our community. And if you're interested in joining us for work weekend, I will drop the information below as well as the application. And lastly, I do have a couple of spots to work with me one-on-one through the end of 2024, and then we will go to a wait list for 2025. So super grateful that you are here, grateful that you watched this video. I hope to connect with you soon and have a beautiful rest of your week and new moon.